So what's your backstory?
So my backstory is, so once I started to change my life around, I remember my mom just crying, Serena, when I just tell you that this lady just cried day in and day out because she got me out of New York because she wanted me to not follow in my father's footsteps. Remember, she told my father, I am leaving you because you are choosing drugs over me and my daughter, which is me.
Yeah.
So now we're moving outskirt of Boston, and I pick up drugs. And she's like, that's devastating.
Yeah.
It's devastating. And it's funny because now my mom, instead of crying tears of desperation, she cries tears of joy. I actually dedicated this book to her. And I said, thank you for being, sorry, but thank you for being such a patient mother, right? Throughout my troubled teens, throughout those years. And before this, I remember just wanting to I remember my cousin getting stabbed. And I said, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of Boston. This is not healthy. My cousins would do drive-by. And I just felt like I want to be able to do something different. You know, I became a graphic designer. I went to Job Corps. Then I moved out here to Florida. And I remember just not being fulfilled with graphic designing. I want to do something more, you know. So I became a John Maxwell coach, certified coach, and I was training business people, workshops, leadership skills, and even that didn't fulfill me because they had the money, but I felt like they didn't have the intelligence, you know. And I'm not downing any blue collar companies at all, but I kind of felt like adults, they have a mindset of my way is the right way. It's hard to mold an adult. They think they know it all. Let's be honest. You know, so adults. So I remember just being in a business workshop and I'm teaching them leadership skills, and some are so resistant because they've been there. They know that I've been in the company 10 years, and you know what? They're not gonna fire me because people work enough to get fired. They work enough to not get fired, and they make enough to not quit. So I'm like, okay, well, this isn't really my forte. You know, these business people, they're great, but it's not what I want to do. So I started volunteering at a juvenile detention center out here in Florida. And I remember a kid just slouched, and he reminded me of me. And I was like, oh my God, because I remember having that attitude like, what do you know? But the difference is that I did know because I've been there.
Yeah.
You know? And he just looked so discouraged. He was empowered while I was there. But then once I was walking and I was kind of saying my goodbyes, he just looked discouraged.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, okay. And a light bulb hit. And I was like, okay, it turned on. And I said, all right, my voice leaves, but my words will stay.
Yeah.
And that's how I created Excelled Dreamer.
Wow.
I said, I'm going to leave. My words are going to leave with me. But I'm going to make sure that my words stay. My voice will leave, but my words stay. And it's been the best thing that I've ever done. Can I just tell you? I'm like, I just signed over a copy to myself. You know, I make so many copies. I sign so many copies to other people, and I signed a copy to myself.
I love
like, listen, you know what? You did it. You know, you're an author. People want your signature. People want to know your story. So sign one for you.
Yeah.
That, you know, just to kind of, we can empower ourselves, right? We can't look for outside validation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something that we all struggle with, wanting to be validated by other people. And I was like, yeah, no, you know, I did this. You know, let me sign a book over to me. Sign me. I love you.
That's awesome. So this kid that kind of like helped this light bulb. Do you know who this kid is, or?
No, I was there volunteering. Like I said, I spoke. I was volunteering as a motivational speaker. Like I said, he was motivated, but then he was like, once I left, once I was saying my goodbyes, I just saw his whole energy just switch.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, I got to do something.
Wow.
I gotta do something. And it was the best thing. I think this kid, I wish I would have grabbed his name.
Yeah.
But he was the one who inspired me to kind of say, okay, we got to do something different.
Wow. That would be crazy and so amazing if you wound up bumping into him at some point where he recognized that maybe. Wow.
Yeah. You
So
know, and the oldest, go ahead.
so who saved you? How did you find your way out? Which
Well, I'm gonna say that I have to be honest and really think back. And my mom gave me a book, and it was an angel's book. You
like
know,
God?
yeah. I really believe that God was just. I really believe that this was all part of the plan.
Okay.
Like even looking at everything that's happening now, I really believe that everything I went through was for this very moment right here. Was for this.
Yeah.
So that I could be a better servant to those who are in the detention centers. Because everyone I speak to is like, this has never been done. Oh my God, we got to get you in here. Let me order a few books. We got, so it's like, so it was worthwhile. I've had people ask me, do you regret it? I can't because then I'm giving away my power now. If I
Yeah.
regret it, that means I'm giving away my power and I didn't learn the lesson. So I'm going to honestly give all credit to God. My mom gave me this book. It was an angel book. And I just started reading it. I remember just kind of looking at it, reading it. And I just kind of felt like, okay, I got to do something better. I can't. I remember just smoking weed and doing drugs. And my first goal was to make it to the age of 21. That was my only goal. That was my
Wow.
first goal. I was like, I just want to make it to 21. If I make it to 21, I'm happy. Like, I don't care if I die at 22. I just want to make it a 21. So I am 39 years old now. I'm gonna be 40 this year. So we way past 21, girl. So yeah,
Wow.
let's go.
So
21.
so your mom in a book. Who do you have the book? Do you know the author? Just a book?
I
God
think it
book?
was like Doreen. Again. This was when I was like 20 years old. I still have the book. It's just like an angel's book. And I was just kind of intrigued about God and angel. My mom has always gone to church, but I wasn't really into it. You can't really build a relationship with God if it's forced. You have to be able to find your own way, your own path, and build that on that relationship. But now, I definitely have a great relationship with God now because I really believe that everything I went through, like I said, it was for this purpose right here.
Wow, that's so amazing. I love that you or I don't even know. Something that you said just triggered this though. I talk a lot. I just did a TikTok on this today about giving thanks to your struggles or the people that have given you struggles. A lot of times we like to blame people. So for instance, you blaming your dad for doing drugs and then enticing you to feel like maybe you should try drugs to see what it is. And people get in this story of, woe is me because of my dad. Woe is me because of my dad. But in your instance, what you just basically said was you were supposed to go through all that. So it's almost like thanks to your dad for even giving you the idea of doing it and giving as crazy as that is, giving him thanks for doing that because now it's led you down this amazing path that you never would have had if it weren't for that.
I wouldn't change anything. I
Yeah.
wouldn't change anything. Where
Isn't
I'm
that
at
crazy
now,
though? Like people don't do that though. Like people have bad guys in their life that they label as bad guys. And you are a prime example of a person that wasn't doing so good actually led you down this path. And if it wasn't for that, it possibly never would have happened.
exactly, and my
Crazy.
probation officer, we are now friends. She bought a book, and we're working with trying to get my books in the Massachusetts system. You know,
Wow.
probation officer. And they were like, "Oh my God!" So I think everything has its divine purpose.
Yes.
I think it's perspective. I definitely
Yes. Yes.
everything is perspective. It's
Yes.
and I wouldn't change it, Sabrina. I promise you, I thank God. I'm like, wow, this is cool because I'm changing the trajectory of my life, their life, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Wow, so cool.